Good morning, people, or chatbots, or AI things, or robots, or whatever you are out there. Sorry, I got the wrong screen up here. Just give me a second. So, who do we have with us this morning? Eric Rangel. Eliza's not ready. Trina's Technobabble, good morning. And K-Mac Vintage. How are you guys doing on this fine day? Hopefully you can hear me. So, I never trust OBS. Never trust a technology that thinks more than you do. So, or appears to think more than you. Or appears to be alive. Anyway. So, what's going on? April is my birth month, so I'm very near my birthday, so happy birthday to me. Thanks, Will. So I survived another year around the sun, which is always good, right? So let's get to the morning segment, the segment that I've added to the show that covers it's kind of the chat section. So hang on a second while I get something here. And put it in the browser where I can share it. Okay.
Oh, where is the beef?
Man, I'm gonna have to do better icons on my controls here. Anyway, so where's the beef? One of the things that I've been thinking a lot about, and I know other people have, and it's one of the reasons why I've got the subject for today's stream, is what Google and YouTube are calling synthetic content. Altered or synthetic content, which is a nice, generic, non-in-your-face way of saying how do you disclose AI-generated stuff. AI is becoming, artificial intelligence is now becoming a dirty word because of all the controversy around it. I take exception to using artificial intelligence to describe it because it's not intelligent. It is artificial. But like all things in programming, it's actually created by people. AI to me is, the large language model and all that stuff is really just statistics with lots of data behind it. But people have a tendency, and this is a segue into the segment today, people have a tendency to think that it's more than it is. It can be very useful. I'm not a AI Luddite by any means, but just like any other technology, it can be abused and misused by people. So there, YouTube is trying to kind of work around the edges of this a little bit. They've got, advice on how to disclose your altered or synthetic content. So if you alter pictures to make it look like some, Obama was born on the North Pole or something like that, I guess that would be altered content, photographs that are changed, things like that. Anyway, so they're trying to do what they can to keep out of the and really the only thing they're doing is trying to keep out of a lawsuit. So It's not about you, it's about them. I've used some of the image generation stuff before, and I do see a lot of potential for it, but I also see a lot of risk. My biggest objection to AI is the fact that they've trained it off of open source content that does not have a license that allows you to use it without attribution. So same goes for images, and I understand legally with the way the definition of copyright is and everything, it's not violating copyright to do this, but I have moral objections to not attributing content. So there you are. Anyway, when I put images together because I'm not an artist by any means, I either use public domain or Creative Commons, and if it requires attribution, I do that. So anyway, enough about that. So what does that mean for today? So today we're going to harken back to yesteryear. Actually, we're going to go all the way back to when I was a wee lad in the 1960s. And no, I'm not a hippie. I'm really more of a beatnik than a hippie. But anyway, I'm not that old either. But in the 60s, there was a dude. Let me see if I can bring this up. Because I've got links in my description. Anyway, we'll just go there. There was a guy who was trying to study human-computer interaction. And Joseph Weizenbaum. And he wrote a little program that pretended to be a particular kind of psychoanalyst. The one that, will sit there and go, listen to you on the couch and say, how does that make you feel? It would get very vague responses or questions to the whoever was dumping their thoughts on them. So it's a fairly simple thing to simulate, and like all AIs, if you want to call this an AI or a chatbot or whatever, it's not intelligent. It doesn't understand anything. All it does is pick out keywords and then give you canned responses in return. So Eliza was this program's name, and when he found that his secretary was using the program and dumping out her concerns and problems to it, and thought it was very helpful, and he was shocked that people were treating it that way. And people would say, wow, is this really, it's simulating a human? And it couldn't pass the Turing test. You could ask it questions about the weather, and it would say, well, how do you feel about the weather? It doesn't really know anything. So Alan Turing was a computer scientist who was mistreated by the world in a lot of ways. But anyway, who came up with a Turing test, or what's called as the Turing test for computer intelligence, to say, if you set a person in front of a terminal and had it have a conversation with a computer, could they tell whether it was a human or a computer on the other end? If they couldn't tell or distinguish between the two, then it passed the Turing test. So a simple way of checking something like that. Doesn't mean that the computer has to be sentient or intelligent or understand anything. It's mimicking. So the Turing test and passing it does not mean that it is an intelligent, sentient being on the other end. It just means it's good at mimicking it. It also means it could be a singularity and Skynet's been born and we're all going to be dead. But, that's another story. So, since I've been rattling on, let me check on the chat here. So, we have Gut Bomb. Nice shirt, Eric. Yes, Gut Bomb is playing around with AUX. I'm sorry, Gut Bomb. I suspect that you have plans for creating a very insecure information access device. I won't go any farther than that. And then perhaps allowing people to view it. Thanks for the happy birthday. Oh, yeah, and happy birthday to you coming in May. Trina, you're just saying hi to Gut Bomb. You're just talking in the background as you usually do. Stay awake, Trina. Stay awake. Eric, you recently learned that you're a Cardassian. Okay. Gut Bomb, my biggest objection is that executives have eliminated jobs because they think it can do more than it can do, and that is true. Like every other hyped up piece of tech, they think it's going to eliminate jobs so that they can just grab more of the profit. Yay, capitalism. AI can do mate too. Yes, this is my mate AI. Futurama warned us against that, Eric Rango. Yep. Eliza was the solitaire of the day. Yeah, solitaire is actually a harder program to write. Thank you, Retro Techie. I like you too. Movie The Imitation Game is about Turing. Yeah, Turing is a really interesting... Alan Turing is a really interesting person. And it's really sad after all the efforts that he went to in World War II to, along with others, obviously, he didn't do it by himself, to crack the Enigma code, that he was treated the way he was. So, you want to hear a sad tale of unappreciation, you could look that up. Gut Bomb, my AUX machine has no network connectivity. Oh, you don't have the proper network card in there? Because it is really picky about the actual hardware. Gut Bomb, let's talk later about that. Maybe I could help you with that if you're serious about that. Getting network connectivity. And hello, Bill Goats. Alright, so let's go back to the topic at hand. So I was talking about the dude that came up with this program and how people actually got involved. I think there was a young... what's the guy's name? Young Sheldon episode where he had Eliza running on a computer and his older brother got into it. I saw a cutout for that, or a short, or whatever you call it. So this guy wrote this program, and the particular version that I'm messing around with was... Now, he says it was originally programmed in Lisp. I'm not sure if that's not 100% accurate. It was another language. It may have been a Lisp interpreter that was similar to Lisp that is no longer used and was just something that was around at the time. So that might not be quite right. Then this version was written by Jeff Shrager. Shrager? Yeah, Shrager. And I assume that was to translate it to BASIC. And then Steve North, who wrote this article, translated it to blah, blah, blah. Where's the header? MIT's 8K BASIC 4.0. Okay. Some guy in New Jersey. So yay, New Jersey. Anyway, and then wrote this article for Creative Computing Magazine, where he had the source code, and he goes through a detailed explanation of how the program works. So I typed the thing into my Apple II, and was up until 1 a.m. because nobody wants me to watch me write 250 or 300 lines of data statements. And of course it didn't work right. I found some defects and typos and things like that in it. I mean, I can type pretty well, but I'm not the world's most accurate typist. So, or keyboardist, is that the phrase now? When I took typing in high school, it was called typing, not keyboarding, because it was on IBM Selectric typewriters, which, by the way, is probably the best typewriter ever invented. And no, I do not have one. And I graded out, I think I could type about 25 words a minute because you include corrections, and it was manual correction at the time. I can actually type a lot faster than that on a regular keyboard, but nobody cares about typing speed anymore, at least not for that. Maybe keyboard entry with numbers. I know some people that are really fast at that. Okay, here comes story number 2. My first job after college was writing a DOS program that did food costing analysis and inventory for Little Caesars Incorporated. So this program, because it didn't have any data entry, the point of sale system didn't actually collect any data that was useful. People had to key in inventory numbers and things, and so I wrote a routine to get that information, and you typed it in using the number pad on the keyboard, and I thought I'd done a pretty good job. You know, I tested how fast I could take it so you wouldn't get buffer overflows by just mashing the keys on the keyboard, and it worked. Then they brought someone in from the data entry pool team. And oh my God, I didn't realize people could keyboard that fast. This person made me look like an ape. Well, okay, I look like an ape. This person made me look like an imbecile. No, that's a bad word. Made me look inadequate. Let's put it that way. Yeah, pizza. But the program kept up. I was rather proud of that. So, yay me. I did a good job programming that. And this is back in the day when it cost $500 to get a user interface library for DOS programming. And accounting wouldn't let me buy one because that was a capital expense. It was more than $500. And that comes from a different accounting bucket. They're already paying for me, so it was okay for me to spend 6 months writing my own interface library. Yay, capitalism. Anyway, I really got off on a tangent. Anyway, so let's get to the program. Why don't we do that? Enough of the old stories. There'll be more, I'm sure. So let me switch cameras here. Eric, where did you put the buttons? So, got the bench cam going. So you can see the screen. I have not set up an analog output capture yet for this, so it's on my to-do list. Just haven't gotten around to doing it. I may already have the bits and bobbles that I need to do it. I haven't tried. So you get a video of the actual screen. Actually, it doesn't look too bad. I'll take a look at the chat again. Oh, it's an SE30. No, can't help you with that. I don't have the cards for an SE30. I do have a compatible network card for a 2CI. Trina's gonna have a stream at noon. So, Trina, go ahead and drop a link in there, or you can wait to the end if you want to. It's up to you. But Trina's gonna have a stream at noon because Big Bad Biologist is not having a stream today. So tune in for that, and we can watch her fall asleep in a chair. Or maybe she'll test memory. I don't know what Trina plans on doing. Maybe I'll join her stream so I can keep her awake by talking about programming. Yeah, this week is VCF East in New Jersey, the Garden State. I know people don't think of it as a garden, but that's the moniker for New Jersey. Oh, some Selectrics were used as printers for the Apple IIs. I'll have to look into that. I didn't realize they had an interface for that, or did somebody like mangle it to make it work? Yay, capitalism. Can you tell me more about how that made you feel? Made me feel inadequate. Oh, Gutbomb's testing out a composite S-video capture thing today. Yeah, let me know how it goes. I think my daughter might have a setup for that. I don't know. Okay, so you've got the 2CI networking set up. Good. Trina. So you are going to do more MemTest 86. Great. That'll be riveting. And Gutbomb's going to be on there working stream working on 2GS. Oh, cool. Yeah, maybe I'll join if I can. We'll see. Anyway, program. Let's talk about the program. So, I'm going to switch chairs. Oh, old man noises. Oh, and I almost forgot my coffee. Don't want to forget the coffee. I need to get a better stool for sitting at this bench. So, I don't know if you guys, well, let me tilt the camera so you can see it. So, this is my bench. That's my mug of coffee. And this bench is a woodworking bench that I made before building my guitar. And the holes in here are for dogs. They're pegs that have spring-loaded buttons in them. And you can put a dog in here, and you can put your piece of woodworking up against it so that you can plane it. It'll keep it from running off the bench. You don't have to clamp it down then. So it's got all the holes in it for that, but of course I dropped screws through here now, so that's not convenient. I need to make some pegs to go in and fill them up. I don't even remember where the dogs are for this. And they were just simple wooden dogs. They weren't the fancy ones that will hold your piece down on the top. But all this is 2x6s, the cheapest 2x6s I could buy, glued together. And then I used a hand plane, not a powered one, but a hand plane to plane it flat. Took quite a while to make, but it makes a great workbench because it's very sturdy. So, oh, thanks, Trina. I can join. Yay! Okay. So, back to the program. So, Eliza is a very simple program. It is quite a few lines of BASIC. There's Python implementations if you're into that. I'm sure there's a C program implementation. There's probably a Lisp implementation, and I don't recall what the programming language was that the guy used in '67 to write it. But it wasn't Lisp. I'm pretty sure it wasn't. It must have been some kind of variant. You could probably, Gutbaum, you could probably learn Snowball and write it in Snowball. I don't recommend that. Anyway, so, Eliza, Steve North. So, description here. Eliza is a program that accepts natural English as input and carries on a reasonably coherent conversation based on psychoanalyst techniques of Carl Rogers. Anyway, it's not very sophisticated, let's put it that way. So I'm going to get rid of some of the debugging statements I put in here. Oh, sorry. I don't think he put a string in here to quit the program. Maybe he just hit enter. Nope. Okay. Alright, that's 420. 421, 422, 423, 424, that's 400 through 500, 25 and 26. So what I'm doing is just clearing out some print statements that I threw in here when I was trying to figure out why it wasn't working. Okay. So, debugging programs on an Apple II. I don't know if there's any languages or anything that have a debugger built in with them for the Apple II. Microsoft did make a compiler for BASIC. Oh, Control C. Actually, oh, so it does use the control characters. I didn't know that. That's convenient. Gutbaum will not be learning Snowball. I only played around with it for a few months, so might be an interesting language to dig up and look at again, but nah, probably not. Anyway, so debugging programs on this, you're back to the old ways. When I first started programming, the Unix compilers at the time, there was a debug tool, and you could use it to look at, if you had a segmentation fault and the core dumped, you could look at the dump. I never learned how to use them. We always just stuck print statements inside our code to try to figure out what the hell was going on with the code. So, same thing here. I just threw some print statements in, and I put in a short phrase, basically a middle finger to Eliza, last night at 1 a.m., and I got back an error because it was trying to take the rightmost 0 characters from the string that was entered, and you can't do right length 0, right dollar length 0. So there's a bug. I went over the code and the data statements and everything, and couldn't find any typos, so I think it's a bug in the code. So it might blow chunks occasionally. I don't know if we're going to get into trying to debug that, because I just went ahead and used a different phrase this morning and it worked, so we'll just go with it. So, oops, keep hitting the delete key, thinking I can delete. So it's a pretty long program. Blah, 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 blah. It's got a lot of data statements in it. So those are the phrases for the responses and the keywords to figure out what to do based on what the user types in. And then some other data statements. So let's play with it a little bit. This will be a little more interesting. So run the program. Hi, I'm Eliza. What's your problem? I don't like computers. So I'm going to lie right off the start. Don't you really like computers? Okay, I love computers. Now it's going through and looking for keywords. Do computers worry you? So I said I love computers, but then it says, do computers worry you? It doesn't really maintain any kind of state. It doesn't know or remember what your first statement was, your second, your prior statement, anything like that. So it doesn't build up a context for a conversation. A more sophisticated program would keep track of, if you mentioned Billy hates me, it would ask you, well, what do you think about Billy? Or it, third sentence down, it would say, tell me more about Billy. It doesn't retain any of that information because it doesn't even really recognize sentence syntax that much. So it's just looking for keywords. Anyway, so somebody put something. Okay, Eric Rangel. We'll use that. Eliza. Oops, not Elixa. I have dreams about you. Entry ignored. Or extra ignored. Say, do you have any psychological problems? Eliza, I have dreams about you. See, same exact response, except this time, please don't repeat yourself. It does have that. I typed in the same phrase, so it keyed off of that. So, can I see you? Question mark. Perhaps you don't want to see you. See, keywords, and then it's like confused. It doesn't really understand what I'm saying. Type it without the comma. Okay. Do you... Oops. I have dreams about you. What does that dream suggest to you? So it probably picked up on dreams. And I think what does that dream suggest to you is a canned response. I was awake at 6 a.m. this morning. Girth, Beagle, no excuse. I don't sleep well. Why don't you sleep well? So I don't is one of the keywords that it uses. It strips that out, uses sleep well for the rest of the sentence. I don't know. Do you wish to be able to know? Another keyword. No. No. You tell me. We are discussing you, not me. Who am I? Type mismatch error in 530. Okay, so we ran into a bug. Let's take a look at the code and see what's going on there. So I have a printout. There was a GitHub that had the text. What I should have done was put all this into the emulator on my desktop, because then I could have just copied and pasted it in, but I didn't. I sat here for 2 hours and typed it in last night, or an hour, because I wanted the full experience. So I got it. Let's see. 530 is something that is parsing. So let's look at list 500 through 400. Oh. Oh, 500 through 600. Didn't know what to do with that. Okay, so 530. C dollar equals left dollar of C dollar comma L minus 1 plus S dollar plus right C. Okay, so there's obviously a typo in here. 530 is supposed to be C dollar. Let's make this a little easier. 530. Okay, 530 is supposed to be C dollar equals left dollar, C dollar comma L minus 1, so that's good, plus S dollar, plus right dollar, C dollar comma length. Do you see it? Now, maybe there's a way to edit inside the line here. I don't know how to do that. Some basic environments, I think the TI lets you do this. You can edit the line without having to retype the whole thing. I don't know how to do that on an Apple II. So I'm going to just retype the entire thing. And my phone is going off. Yep, not percent, dollar. The keyboard on this is very good for the day, according to Joe, Joe's Computer Museum. But it is a little bit, requires quite a bit of pressure to activate the keys. Right dollar, C dollar. Come on. And my shift key is a little bit wonky. Probably needs a cleaning. I lost my place. C dollar. We were missing the, I was missing the parenthesis for that. L minus. I believe that's right. Ow. Didn't want to list the whole program. Let me see what's going on. My phone is blowing up, so give me a second here. Oh, the dealership that sold me my car is telling me happy birthday. I know it's just marketing stuff when a company tells you happy birthday because they're just saying, hey, remember us? You bought things from us. Want to buy from us again? No, I don't. Not right now. I mean, I'm happy with the purchase, but okay, so that looks like it's good. So we're going to run it, and where did we leave off? I don't remember. You typed len too many times. Oh, did I screw up that? Control C. Yeah. Helps if you actually... Okay. List 530. Oh. You're right. That's what I get for talking and typing at the same time. All right. Okay. Oh, so there is some debugging you can do. You can add a line with the stop command, and it will break at that line so you can examine variables. Yeah. So what do? Use print statements to look at the variables? Maybe we should try that just for grins. So if I did 525 stop. Oh, shoot. $5.25 stop. Run. And I don't remember what we typed. Do you love me? Okay, so it didn't hit that code. I don't remember what we had that caused it to get there. Oh. Call me Ishmael. Yes. Are you sure? Yes. I see. May I mambo dog face in a banana patch? What does that suggest to you? Oh, who am I? That's right. Ah, break it. Okay. Print. See, 530 had L. Oh, this is very useful. Thank you. C dollar. R dollar. Oops. So I dollar is the phrase that was typed in. With a space in front of it. Well, this is useful. How do you continue? Existential error in 525. Gut bomb pickup line. You just type run and it continues. Oh, it just starts over. Okay, so is there a way to break and then continue? Continue. Okay. Who am I? Ah, cool. So let's get rid of 525. So Control C. 525. Run. Tell me a story. So one of the things I was thinking about doing was taking this code and throwing it into my adventure game as a bot that you run into, or something similar to it. Say, do you have any psychological problems? Yes, I have many problems. It's thinking, as we would say. Are you sure? Yes. Tell me about yourself. There was a battle of the bots at one point where they had two bots talk to each other. And that was interesting. I want Deanna Troy. I want Deanna Troy. Oh, let's do exclamation point. What would it mean to you if you got Deanna Troy? Exclamation point. What else we got going on in the chat? Can I write a program to give me the next winning lottery numbers? Yes, I can. all I have to do is have it print every combination of numbers for you. If order is important, I could have it print every permutation of numbers. So yes, I can write a program that will give you the next winning lottery number. In fact, it exceeds your requirements. It gives you every possible lottery number. Does that satisfy your requirements? Yes, it does. Does it satisfy the intent of your original problem? No, because you didn't ask the correct question. This is how programmers work. We think like computers. You ask me to write a program to give you the next winning lottery numbers, and I can do that. This is where, see, I work in tech for the state of Michigan, and I work in a group called Agency Services. I have a rather long title. I am an operational manager, which means I'm the lowest level of management. What's nice about that is that I'm not on call. Being the lowest level of management means that I don't have to answer the phone after hours if I'm called. That doesn't mean I don't do it, but we have an agreement with our customer to do best effort, which means if somebody calls you after hours because there's a problem with a mission critical system, I don't have to answer the phone because they don't want to pay for 3 shifts of support. And I'm happy to do that because I've in the past worked jobs where I had to be on call all the time, and I'm too old for that nonsense, and I paid my dues, so there, not going to do it. Anyway, that's story number 3. Eric Rangel, in AppleWorks, there was a requirement to sort, so they put in a slow bubble sort. Yeah, the bubble sort is one of the first sort algorithms you learn when you're taking computer programming, or at least when I did it back in the day. And it's rather inefficient, but it does do the job of teaching you one of the sorting algorithms. It's often used, these simple sorting algorithms, the various ones. You've got a binary search, where you divide a list in half, and then you look to see if your value is greater or less than, so you can tell which half to search next, yada yada yada, until you finish. And that could be a recursive algorithm. Let's not do a deep dive into recursion. Anyway, sorting algorithms like that, simple ones, are used to introduce the idea of big O notation, which is how do you analyze the performance of an algorithm to see whether it is linear or maybe it's exponential, and what order it is. These are things that I learned in computer science 40 years ago, so don't ask me details. I don't remember. It's all stuff you don't use later, because now everybody has coding libraries that provide all of this to you, and you just use them, and you don't even think about how efficient it is anymore. You just use the stuff in the library. There aren't a lot of programmers that today who really understand how things work down to the metal, nor do they need to. Programming languages are a tool to solve a problem, and customers don't care if you're saving nanoseconds for a calculation. They're not paying you for that. They're paying you to do things within budget in the shortest time possible to write the code. The cloud is the new mainframe. Yeah, in a sense. So, anyway, that's what this program does. It's really just a pretty simple program. So we've gone on about an hour. So let's take a few minutes to look at the Steve North's explanation of the code. So in his remarks, he says, basically the program gets a string from the user, prepares it for further processing. So it divides things up into keywords, finds keywords in the input string. So the pre-processing is to identify words. And I haven't dug into the details of what it's doing there. I think it's not examining each word. Anyway, what's the next thing he says? If a keyword is found, take the part of the string following the keyword and translate, in quotes, all the personal pronouns and verbs. I becomes you. Are becomes am. Okay, so that you can turn the sentence around in a response. Look up the appropriate reply based on the keyword which was found, print it, and if necessary, the translated string. So it's a really simple program, actually. There are 36 keywords, such as, now keywords, he means key phrases. I am, why don't you, and computer. The keywords must be in order of priority, so Eliza will key on are you before you. Okay, so there's a little bit of optimization there for looking for particular keywords. Strings used for the translation or conjugation process. Oh, there are 12 of them. These are in pairs. Okay. Oh, come on. Fingers. I have arthritis, and it's really acting up today. I may have to take some medication after this. Such as if one member of the pair is found, the other is substituted for examples why, you, am, are, etc. There's 112 reply strings. The strings are arranged in groups corresponding to the keywords. There is no fixed number of different replies for each keyword. Replies ending in an asterisk are to be followed by the translated string. So if you're doing something like, let's see, who are you? Let's see what happens here. Why are you interested in whether or not it am? A little bit awkward response there. Let me see. I want to be a jelly donut. I think that'll key something that's got an asterisk at the end. Why do you want to be a jelly donut? So that's where the response has an asterisk on it, so it sticks the subject on the end. So let's turn that around. Jelly donut is what I want to be. Suppose you get soon got to be. So it thinks the end of, the normal English word would be the subject there. Let's try this. A jelly donut is my destiny. So a what does that suggest to you? It's like, I can't figure out what you said, so I'm just going to do a phrase. A more complex program would break down sentence structure, recognize parts of speech, and then figure out how, what the subject is of a sentence and things to do that. If you don't ask about sex, does Eliza ask you about it? No. What is sex? Question mark. Why do you ask? Can we procreate? I see. How do you feel? And it's going to say, we're not here to talk about me. Probably. We are discussing you, not me. Want to have a good time? Question mark. I'm not sure I understand you fully. Okay. Couldn't parse it, so it gave up. Pro-DOS create. Let's see, continuing in the code, there's 112 reply strings. So you could use this as a template to have it talk about a different domain, and that was the original programmer's intent. This one was called Doctor, and the idea was you could have it talk about different subjects, but you had to tailor the responses to that. What if I said, I am a computer? I am a computer. Why do you think you are a computer? Did you come to me because you are a computer? Okay. Are you a computer? Would you prefer if I were not a computer? My J key keeps cropping up. I wonder why. Because I'm resting my finger right there, I guess. Am I a computer? Do computers worry you? So it keyed on computer and it just says that. I am a jelly donut. How long have you been a jelly donut? Anyway. So you could add to the replies too. Numerical data to determine which replies to print for each keyword. For each keyword, there is a pair of numbers signifying start of reply strings, number of reply strings. Thus, the fifth pair of number 10, 4 means that the replies for the fifth keyword, I don't, start with the 10th reply string, and that there were 4 replies. So it gives you a way to index the data to figure out what to do there. And a detailed explanation. We're not going to go there. There is a phrase in here. It says shut up. So let's see. Shut up. Oh, that's how you quit the program. Let's see. Keyword find section. So it goes into details about blocks of code, explaining what each block does. Modifications. Here's something in. Limitation. Runs in 16K of memory. So, a lot of data. You can easily add, change, or delete any of the keywords, translation words, or replies. Remember that you will have to change N1, N2, and N3 and or the numerical data. Just as a suggestion, if you decide to insert me and you into the translation string list, put a non-printing control character in you to prevent Eliza from substituting I, you, me. This means you will always be assumed to be the subject of a verb, never the object. Okay, so that's a hack to fix the code. A few comments. The structures found could be replaced by restore and n statements in your base, if your basic has them, so he suggests there's better ways to do it. The use of in-string search and POS functions to determine if one string is a substring of another would probably speed things up. And he says it takes Eliza around 10 seconds to think of a reply. So anyway, so this is a very minimal implementation. That does simulate a very stupid analyst. It's always the Commodore pet's fault. Ugh. Ryan, I expect you to do this program with your pet. Should be capable of doing it. Oh, and good morning. So, let's switch back. Hello there. So, what's going on in the world? Let's see. This month is my birthday. I covered that. I was up way too late last night. Late last night. So was Sloopy. I hope Sloopy had safe travel this morning. He was trying to get stuff ready for VCF East. So, Sloopy, if you're out there, be safe. I know that Ron and Steve and several other people are at VCF East. You know, maybe someday I'll be able to go to that. Midwest is the VCF event that I go to. It's the biggest one. But it'd be great someday to kind of tour around and go to all the events. It'd be fun. So maybe I'll win the lottery with that program. I'm searching for lottery numbers. What else? I'm going to do a prepared video instead of a live stream for this, but last year I stumbled across somebody selling a Macintosh SE30. The SE30 was my dream machine. I graduated from college in 1989. I was a late bloomer. I graduated from high school in 81 and went part-time and got married, and I went to community college and then 2 universities before I graduated and blah, blah, blah. I worked the entire time I was in school. So back in those days, even though I had student loans, you could actually work your ass off and go to school and pay for your living expenses and everything doing that. In fact, I had a scholarship. Michigan had what was called the Michigan Competitive Scholarship based on your ACT scores. So if you scored high enough on your ACT, you got a scholarship. The first year of college, that scholarship paid for all of my tuition and books. It was great. And then the legislature started raping the budget for that. By the time I finished college, I had to borrow and got nothing for that competitive scholarship. They had killed it within a decade. So I appreciate the fact that it was there the first year of school, but shame on our legislators for creating a situation now where colleges cost an astronomical amount. Shame on the universities too. We should be following the European model, or at least there should be good universities that follow the European model, where if you want to go to a sports club, you join a sports club. You don't go to university. And they subsidize it. So you're paying maybe $1,000 a year. Maybe that's compensated or balanced by having it more of an elitist system where you have to pass, you have good grades and all that, and you can only go to college instead of trade school. But they also have trade schools for that. So I think we missed out a bit on the boat there. It's more about whether you can pay or not. Anyway, that's the third rant. Where was I? I was talking about college and graduating, and then I totally lost my thread. Doesn't matter. Anyway, that's what happens when I go off on a tangent like that. So anyway, VCF. Yeah, a VCF deadhead. I mean, I got the Jerry Garcia look, so why not? I could make cassette tapes of live performances at VCF and trade them. Yeah, university tuition is free in Scotland. Can anybody go to university, or do you have to pass entrance exams to qualify? So there's always something, right? Or there are various levels of, like, there's the premier universities that only take the cream of the crop, and then there's community college for people that can't make the premium. But anyway, Scotland's a very interesting place. I'd hope to visit it someday. As you guys know, I'm into kilts, and I've got Scottish heritage, as well as German, Dutch, English, whatever. I'm a mongrel from Europe. In the U.S., if you're not a Native American, your heritage can't be more than 300 years old. So I have an ancestor that was an indentured servant in Schenectady, New York, that was in a massacre in the 1630s. So part of the family goes back pretty far. Okay, in Ireland, you take a test in year 9 to decide whether you go to trades or university. That's a lot of pressure. Tuition is free in Scotland for folk from Scotland and the EU, but English people have to pay, as it should be. You want to get out of the European Union, you got to pay the price. You should wear a kilt on my stream today. No, Trina, I am not putting a kilt on today. Why? Because I don't want to go to the trouble, honestly. I'm getting pretty lazy about that. And the comfortable kilts are summertime kilts, and it's still, what's the temperature today? Where the hell did I put the thermometer? It's 66 degrees in the basement, Fahrenheit. So that's less than, 20 centigrade? It's not really comfortable in here. What else was I going on about? Anyway, so the SE30, that's where I was at. So I got this SE30 from the guy. He had tried to recap it. It didn't work. Was getting some artifacts and stuff. K-Mac Vintage, Will, offered to help me out with it, and I tried to diagnose the board and figure. I found lots of broken traces. Will took it. He only found a few, so obviously I wasn't testing it right. I don't have an oscilloscope or a logic probe, so it was kind of hard for me to do that. All I could do is trace traces. And I apparently wasn't doing that right. He found a few and fixed it, but he did offer to give me a new logic board with components on it. So I took him up on that. The idea is that I use these machines. It's not going to sit on a shelf, so I wanted as good a functioning unit as I could. And although it wasn't battery bombed, you never know when a trace is going to go or something else is going to happen. So I took him up on that. The analog board had problems, so I swapped out an SE analog board. What else? The memory was good, but the ROM sim was bad. And Will came to the rescue again, sent me a Rominator, and we got that board working. So thank you again, Will. That was really, really helpful, all the help you gave me. So if you need rebuilt boards or a Rominator or various things, Will's your man for that. Yeah, it was a bad ROM. So and the replacement works great. I like the little pirate patch on the Mac that comes up on the boot. So that's cool. Then I took it and I added Joe from Joe's Computer Museum. I floated the idea of doing a 3D printed bracket for, the floppy disk, so that you could insert your blue SCSI SD card from the front through the floppy slot. So Joe created one for an SE, and I was able to take that and modify it for an SE30. After 4 revisions, I got it to where I like it. I wanted the SD card to be recessed as far as I could and still be able to use my fingers to pull it out. So it's there. Put a stand so that the LED light sits next to the hard drive light window. So it all works. And it all boots now, and I plan on doing some HyperCard shenanigans on it. So that might end up being my... the screen's a little small, and it's convenient to be able to use the tools for HyperCard around the screen instead of it being full screen for development, but it'll still be fun to play with. So, and like I said, it was my dream machine. When I graduated from college, the SE30 had just come out. I really wanted to buy one, but I couldn't afford it, and it was not until I got a Mac Plus in 2015 that I finally got my first Mac. So this was a desired machine for me, and now I've got it. So thanks. Anyway, your dream machine is an Acer netbook. I've got an HP netbook laying around. I actually used a netbook as my daily driver for a year because laptop died and it's all I could afford at the time. That was fun. All right, well, I'm going to wrap this up. So, all the usuals. I have a Patreon. If you care to do that, you can do it for as little as $1 a month. Absolutely no obligation. And I also have a coffee if you'd rather go that route. All the funds in my Patreon get turned around and go out to other patrons. So we all support each other that way. What else? I'm in a position where I can afford to go to one event like VCF Midwest. It is getting more expensive, but at least for the next few years, I'll be able to do it. Eventually, I'm going to retire here, and then I won't be able to afford to go to things like that. So, yeah, TTL board and do another screen output. That is a good idea. Still have the same geometry, though. It wouldn't expand the resolution. So, or I mean, it would do the resolution, but it wouldn't give me a larger desktop. So, Trina will be streaming at noon, which is not too far off. So please join that. If I can, I will join Trina's stream. Let's see what else. Hug. So the Apple HyperCard user group. Hadn't heard anything about the application, so that's defunct. I'm going to create a logo that doesn't do a trademark strike so that I can sell t-shirts. Like this AUX one would be great to sell, but I can't. This is trademarked and copyrighted content. The image on this shirt is actually from, I don't know if you guys can see it, is actually from, I think Dana created this, did the vectorization of it. It's from one of the books and a CD for AUX. So it's a really cool shirt, but I can't sell it. Oh, the SE30 bracket. I haven't uploaded it yet because I finally got it working the way I wanted it yesterday. But I'll put it up on Thingiverse or something like that. I'll put a link out in the Discord for it. But yeah, I'll share that. I believe I'll have to check with Joe to see how he licensed it, but it should be okay. I'll check with him to make sure. So, because if he didn't make it modifiable, then I won't be able to share that. What else? Yeah, and I could send it to you. So, what are the plans for the rest of this month? It's April apples. I want to say April's apples, but it's April apples. So go search for that hashtag, and I think it's aprilapples.net where you can actually go to the website and look for it. So I'll be doing some more Apple II content. I do have an Apple II GS, and I want to do some HyperCard on that, but I haven't set up the system yet so that I can do that. So I'll get that. Yeah, for your own private usage, I can share it with you. But I'll release it publicly as free to modify and share and whatever, if Joe allows that, because I did modify his. I didn't create it from scratch. So look forward to more shenanigans and HyperCard coming up in May. I do not have a K Pro, so there won't be a May Pro entry. That's a system I don't have. I also, Gut Bomb makes and sells fast load kits for. It's a cartridge that simulates the floppy drive for a Commodore 64, and I plan on doing some C64 programming. Never done it before, so that'll be fun. So there's stuff coming up next couple of months. Got plenty to do. There's also the pile of retro Horde stuff that I still have to go through upstairs in the garage. So there'll be some hardware repair stuff too, I'm sure. All right. Well, like and subscribe if you care to, and all that nonsense. I will see you guys later. Thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. All of you are beautiful and deserve everything that you get and is coming to you in a nice way. Bye.